It's time to enter our top 5 era. I'm Anna Rumor with PopCulture.
And I'm Nick Valdez from comicbook.com.
And this is Dragged, where we offer our unfiltered opinion about RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15, because it's time to let loose. We are going in on the 12th episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15. It's time for a Rusical, time for Wig Loose. Nick, what did you think about the Rusical this season?
I was loving it. I'm all in. They all did such a great job, which is rare. There's usually one person that sticks out either in an excellent way or the other way, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, this time I'm in my questioning era. I don't know how to judge these things. So let's get into it.
We have Lucy LaDuca as our main character, Heaven Bacon, which she fought very hard for and was eventually granted the part by Lux. How do you think she did?
Let's not forget that very crucial part, right?
Yes.
Lux will not let us forget that either. She made sure to remind everybody, oh, I gave her this,
Yes.
So... And it was funny, seeing it all play out. Because honestly, did it matter? I don't think so. No. Ultimately, I think everybody was on the the stage for basically the same amount of time. Yeah, but with Lucy, I don't know. I'm kind of I feel like everyone else did a little more with it. And Lucy was just like, let's get through this,
Nick, this is where you and I are going to disagree this episode because I know you're a Lucy critic, and so am I normally. But I thought she did I thought this was like her redemption era in the Rusical. I thought she was giving professional Broadway. She hit all of the steps in the note. Well, she's not singing, but she looked like it. I thought she did a really, really strong job. I'm not shocked that you don't think so, but I was shocked that I did think so there.
I mean, I'm trying to be fair. I will say she did do well. But
yeah.
I feel like everyone did well across the board.
They did.
So I do have to nitpick at these things. And with Lucy, I was like, well, you're hitting the beats, you're doing what you're supposed to, but it's something in her face.
Okay, I agree. She could have been a little looser with it. Yeah. That's kind of where it's giving me Broadway. She's giving me musical theater kid. And as a reformed musical theater kid, maybe that's what I'm identifying with. Yeah,
because compare that to Mistress, who was having such a hard time in the actual learning the choreography. And we thought it was setting her up for failure, but
yeah.
Here, when she's doing the mama preacher role, and she's kind of she's killing it. She killed it, and that is the emotion I want. Compared to Lucy, you can see it in Mistress's face. She's always served good face, but here I was like, oh, here you are, Mistress. Thank you for redeeming yourself.
She did such a good job when she finally got to the stage. And you're right, her face, she was just into it. She was letting loose. You could tell.
Compare that to Sasha Colby, who is Carl in total boy drag, and she was looser than Lucy,
So funny. What a funny choice for her to make. She's like, you know what? I'm playing Carl. I'm playing him total boy drag. The makeup was all boy. I barely recognized her when she first came out on stage. Such a funny choice. And no one wanted that role. So she was very smart to be like, you know what? I know no one wants this. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it my own. And I'm going to absolutely gag everyone.
Sasha was playing 3D chess here. She not only knew she could kill Carl and do the boy drag perfectly, she looked Carl. Great. Oh, yeah, I know. Bad phrasing, but when she did the full transformation at the end, I was like, oh, this is why you picked Carl, Sasha. You knew you were going to get a little moment at the end, and she turned it out.
Yeah, well, and speaking of making sure that you've got your moment, enter Anitra, You know, we were saying the other week that she is a really good lip syncer, maybe one of the best in Drag Race history, but we'd never seen her do a ballad or like a tender moment before, so we couldn't call it yet. I'm ready to call it. Her number was genuinely moving. She emoted so well. She just, she killed it. I thought she did such a good job.
Anitra, she looks so good with big hair.
She does.
Oh my god, I was like, what are you doing, Anitra? Give us more of this.
She looks so good, and she's just such a good performer. I was ready for her to maybe have a little bit of a flop just because we hadn't seen her tap into the side before, but here she can do everything. She can do it all. She's a modern Renaissance woman.
Absolutely. And then you have other standouts like Lux, who, you know, she got a smaller part because she gave up Heaven Bacon. Like,
yeah. Which might have been better for her, honestly. I could see the energy of Heaven in her personally, but I don't see her doing that role as well as Lucy did. And maybe that's my Lucy delusion, but you know, here we are.
I agree there. Like, I'm kind of glad she got Christian, where she could kind of add a little more flair and personality to the performance. You know, because if Lucy's was anything to go by, you know, there wasn't a lot of room for experimentation. There wasn't a lot of room for personality. So, I mean, Lux knew she's doing she's doing a lot with a little. So, hey.
Here's my only critique, and it's, you know, like you said, everyone did so well, it's impossible to really critique these. My only critique was I lost her a little bit when it wasn't explicitly her number, and that is part of just having a smaller part. But yeah, whenever it came down to it, maybe I thought she should have been in the bottom, and that's wrapped up in the looks too, so we'll talk about that later. But I thought that she could have been a contender for the bottom with Selena, who also did a really good job, but had that smaller part of, what was his name? Like Clem or something?
I don't remember either. You know,
Truck?
It was, yes, his name was Truck. Yes. No. But that is also the problem with Selena's part in all this.
Right.
Like, it's kind of the same thing you said with Lux, where, you know, when it started going into the crowd stuff, she kind of disappeared. And ultimately, I think that's, you know, tie that into, you know, we get to the runway stuff.
Yeah.
And it's understandable why the result is what we got.
Let's get to the runway. The theme is everybody say glove, which is such a funny theme. And I love a glove in an outfit. So this was fun. We start off with Lucy coming out in this kind of creature of the Black Lagoon latex bathing suit. It's cute, but I wasn't living for it. I don't know. It's a bathing suit.
Lucy, stop wearing costumes challenge. I get the idea. The concept is there. I like the idea, but its execution on her doesn't quite fit for me. I don't know, like, to me, it looks like it's fitting on her weird. I don't know, is it, like, frumpy? It's something with, like, the way the frills and the Black Lagoon creature part of it didn't work for me.
I agree. I wanted it to be something else other than a gown. I don't know, maybe the full go all the way with it and make it a jumpsuit, really go full horror with it, or I don't know. I did like that hair color on her, though. I think she should do red more. I
agree. I did like that. So, see, you know, Lucy bias or not, I will compliment her when she does cool stuff. You know?
Look at you in your generosity era. Well, next up we had Anitra. I love this color on her. The lights were a cool addition. I wish they'd turned the lights off for her, but you know. But if I'm going to criticize Lucy for being in a bathing suit, I have to criticize Anitra for also being in a bathing suit that we have pretty much seen her in before, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. It's a gorgeous color. You know, the blue, and her face was immaculate. But we have seen a variation of this outfit on her before. And that is my only thing. Lasers or not, you know, lasers are not going to distract me from the fact that we've seen this before.
I would give her the moon for walking out in a trash bag, but I'm trying to be fair, so, you know. It's on the opposite side, though, I freaked out when Mistress walked out in this yellow gown with this giant, like, taffeta boa. Oh my God, this is my favorite look of hers of the season, hands down.
Yeah, did she hear us talking mess last week? I know that's not how this works, but I feel like that's how this worked.
It is how it works.
we were like, oh, I wish it was longer, and here she is. She was like, oh, let me show you. And thank you, mistress. May I have another? This was incredible.
Next up, we have more of a polarizing look, though. We've got Lux, who comes out in this like Hot Topic, hot goth look with the casts as the gloves. And I love the cast idea. I thought that was a very funny, very clever take on the challenge. But the rest of it was kind of for me.
Yeah, like she wears it well,
Yes.
but it's very like, yes, take me back to high school, very so long, good night kind of thing. But it's definitely an outfit I've seen, and it didn't really give off the, either she made this, she bought this. The fact that it looks like she went to the mall and bought it, is what's like hanging me up here.
Yeah, that was my only thing, is like she went and bought those pants from Hot Topic and put them with a little t-shirt that had her name on it. And she looks amazing in everything. So if we have, we're criticizing bathing suits, we've got to criticize pants and a t-shirt,
We got to be fair. It's at that point of the competition where we really have to really get in here,
Yeah. Up next, I am, again, trying to be fair. Selena comes out in this jumpsuit with a face on it and the big gloves. I have to say, she had my favorite gloves. They were really funny, and I thought they were funny, but I did think she was a lobster at first, which might have been a funnier direction to take this, because the rest of it I did not really identify with.
I was also thinking lobster, so
Right.
when I saw the jumpsuit, I was like, oh, it's a face and hands. Oh, and I'm torn on this one though, especially because I think out of all of Selena's looks thus far and through the season, this was the one that was closest to like really crossing that threshold and being like amazing. It was just one missing piece, one like little idea to like really make it cohesive. It was right there. It was right there.
I think, honestly, if I had to pick the one, because I agree with you, I think this was very close to being something that I liked, but I think, Selena, I love you. I'm really trying to get there with you. I think if it had been a different, quote unquote, skin tone for the jumpsuit, I would have liked it, because it was a little red, so it looked a little sunburned. If it had been maybe like a little bit of a darker skin tone, I would have either darker or lighter, but just not that specific color, Am I crazy?
Yeah, because it's very like Nickelodeon's Inside Out Boy, of like, let me show you all my organs on the outside, and that's what's kind of throwing it all off. It's I think you're right. It's the color of it. And maybe if she would have went full lobster claws, maybe it would have hit better. But it's Selena's problem. It's a lot of concepts. It's just, it was missing that final little piece to like really click it into place.
And we've seen that from her time and time again, which is why, we're almost at judging, but we'll talk about it there. But last up on the runway, we had Sasha, who came out in this baseball glove outfit. And she's just so clever and so put together. Everything that she comes out has such polish. The only thing that I had a minor issue with, just basically to say something other than I liked it, was I wish her eye makeup was a little bit lighter. She was getting a little lost for me there, but
I am in complete agreement with you there. I love the outfit, and this, we talked all that stuff about Selena, but here is the example of, oh, hey, your concept's meeting the design and the fashion of it, and Sasha knows what she's doing at this point. It's really tough critiquing her before we get to the top four, but it's like, at this point, it's her game to lose,
1,000% agree with you, 1,000%. When we get to the top, actually, it turns out to be Anitra that is the winner. Do you agree?
Yes and no. So, I think, Sasha's Carl and that little moment at the end really put that over for me. But also, I agree with Anitra winning because that lip sync in the Rusical was so well done.
Right.
It's the runway look that was holding me back here.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was, because she was so good in the Rusical, and I really identified with her performance, and it was so emotive, but the runway was kind of meh for me, and I feel, we've talked about this before, but sometimes the runway counts, sometimes it doesn't. It's impossible to determine when. But I also thought, and you're gonna come for me, I thought Lucy could have won too. I thought she did well.
Oh my God.
I know. Believe me, I'm shocked I'm saying this, but I thought she was so professional and so good.
I'm like losing. I'm losing my words here. I got completely thrown off because when Lucy was in the bottom two, I was like, yes, thank you.
See, that's where I was shocked, because Selena's in the bottom two with Lucy, and I was like, but she should have been the one. I'm entering my delusional era. I've lost. I thought that Luxx could have been in the bottom because her look was kind of pedestrian, and she didn't shine in the Rusical. But I'm crazy. I have no idea.
It's so funny that, but also, the person with the lead ended up in the bottom two, which is saying a lot. And, maybe if they were lined up with your opinion, maybe she would have won, but...
But Jen just said, no, you're wrong. And for that, I guess I have to respect it, I guess.
Yeah, I love getting confirmation on my Lucy bias. It fuels me.
And with that, kind of in the bottom, we've got Selena and Lucy lip syncing to Running Up That Hill. Shout out Stranger Things for making this song back in the zeitgeist. What did you think? Because again, delusional me, I was like, oh, Lucy mopped the floor with her. She was emoting for the back row. I loved it. And then I feel like you don't feel that way.
No, I was in my send them both home era. I was like, this is, because it's a tough song, and you need a lot of emotion, and if that's Lucy's performing for the back row,
I was like, wow, her eyes, they're so emotive. I'm there with her. I can't.
You were running up that hill too, like I was. But Selena, her glove reveal didn't work the way it should have. I thought she had something in them, like peanut butter or something. I don't know what would be in them, but like it was missing like the rose petal moment or like.
Right.
And so when she does it, it's like, oh, maybe that's something you should have done at the beginning, so you could have had your hands the whole time. And it was just the thing, is that Selena was that much not worse, just Lucy did have the emotions, but
Thank you. It did feel for me like Selena had like given up a little bit, which I get because she's been in the bottom a million times, and I would also be done with it. But for me, I was just maybe I'm a Lucy stan. Let loose.
Well, one of us has to be. It'll balance this out,
Well, luckily for me, Lucy is our one who stays at the end of the episode, allowing me to be in my delusional era for at least one more episode, and probably just that one more episode. Selena goes home. I feel like it was her time, right?
Yeah. Wow, you don't feel like Lucy's gonna make it top 4? I think at this point, Lucy makes it top 4. Yeah.
Who do you think goes home in her place?
Ooh, that's also a tough question. Lucy's going to send someone home that I don't want to go home. I think I'll just put it that way.
I agree. If the only one I could even see her sending home would be Luxx, and I think that would be a mistake.
Oh, that'd be a huge mistake, but what a lip sync that would be.
Very true. Well, we'll just have to see what happens next week. We got the makeover challenge, which is going to be the first time in like a million years, it feels like. And we will keep you updated on everything that happens, and we're going to follow along with you, and we'll probably cry a little bit. So we'll see you next week.